Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Asatyam apratishtham te Jagadahuranishwaram Aparaspara sambhutam Kimanyat kama haitukam. It's pronounced asatyam apratishta. If you don't pronounce the it becomes the opposite meaning. Just like if I say to you, you are very good, if I say you are very bad, it's the opposite meaning. Okay, please go ahead and read it in Tamil. Asatyam apratishtam te jagad ahur anishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kimanyat kama haitukam. They say that this world is unreal with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. We are reading this verse tonight because for the last few days the verses of this chapter have been given. There's been classes regularly here on this chapter, so it's in series. So those of you who want to come every evening at 7 o'clock. There's an English class being given by Shyamananda Das Brahmachari, who's here. So you're invited to come and take advantage of that. It seems to be a smaller gathering than usual this evening. Is that because it's Pongal holidays? Is it? Maybe. Or maybe they're all tired after Rath Yatra yesterday. Well, I guess that's the difference between those who are living in the temple and those who aren't. Those who aren't, they can rest, but those who are in the temple, they have to keep on going. So we are discussing about the demoniac. This chapter is called Divine and Demoniac Natures, Daiva Asura Pravriti. But mostly the demoniac nature is being described in this chapter. Now just before this class, we were singing Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. We sing that because Srila Prabhupada used to sing this before almost every class. So this Jai Radha Madhav Kunja Bihari is a very beautiful song. You agree? Briefly describing the beauty and sweetness of Krishna in Vrindavan. Radharani, the gopis, the Yamuna, and all the residents of Vrindavan. Rajavasi, Yamuna, and all the residents of Vrindavan. So you may think, it doesn't seem to be the same mood as this verse that we're reading today. It doesn't seem to be the same mood as the verse that we're reading. There's very sweet song and then there's condemnation of the demons. But it's the same Krishna who's speaking. The same Krishna who is very sweetly playing on his flute is the same Nrsimhadev who is ripping Hiranyakashipu to pieces. Krishna is Akhila Rasamrita Sindhu. He is the ocean of all nectarian rasas. So there is the very sweet rasa of exchanges in Vrindavan. But in Vrindavan also there is killing of the demons. So Krishna is all round. Everything he does is good. Everything he does is relishable. The devotees take great pleasure in hearing of his killing the demons. Now, if we hear about someone being killed, why should we think that's good? Well, Prahlad Maharaj states that in the Srimad Bhagavatam about after the killing of his own father. Modeta sadhur api vrischika sarpahatya. He says that even a sadhu is very pleased when a snake or a scorpion is killed. So you wouldn't think a sadhu would be happy at someone being killed, because the sadhu is the well-wisher of all living beings. Does anyone know the famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam describing the characteristics of a sadhu? I asked the question first. You have to translate the question. Is anyone can say that? Say it. Suhrida sarvadehinam jata shatava shanta. What is the name? Shanta Sadhava sadhu. So this says that the qualities of a sadhu is that he is tolerant, merciful, the best friend of all living beings. He doesn't have any enemies. He is peaceful, and he is decorated with all the good qualities of saintly person. So if he's Suhrida Sarvadehinam, the best friend of all living beings, then why should he be happy if a snake or a scorpion is killed? And Prahlad Maharaj, by referring to snake or scorpion, he was actually referring to his father. So it means a human being who is like a snake or a scorpion. A sadhu also becomes pleased when he's killed. He is pleased because he is the well-wisher of all living beings. The sadhu is pleased when a person like a snake or scorpion is killed, because the sadhu is the well-wisher of all living beings. That is the reason. Because the persons who are like a snake or a scorpion, they are, without any reason, envious of others. A snake or a scorpion may, even without reason, bite someone and kill them. So an envious person, they also, because of their wicked mentality, take pleasure in giving pain to others. A Vaishnava is called Paradukha Dukhi. He is unhappy seeing the distress of others. But a demoniac person is Paradukha Sukhi. He takes pleasure in the unhappiness of others. And we see some people, they actually take pleasure in torturing insects or animals or even other human beings. So persons who do harm to others, it's good for them that they are removed from that situation. There is a story Srila Prabhupada sometimes used to tell, that a devotee, he was wandering and he came across a brahmachari who was performing severe austerities. Now first of all he came across a Rajkumar, prince. So he told him that, he gave him the benediction, you live forever. Then he came across a brahmachari and he gave him the benediction that you die immediately. Then he came across a butcher and he told him, you jiva va, don't live and don't die. So what's the mystery behind all this? That the prince, he's enjoying himself, but when he dies, then he has to suffer so many sinful reactions. So he told you just live, better you don't die, because you'll have to suffer so much later on. Brahmachari, he told you die immediately, because he's undergoing so much tapasya, so much difficulty, but when he dies he'll get his spiritual reward. Of course we don't want our brahmacharis to die immediately, because we want them to distribute Prabhupada's books. You'd say? You translated that?
No, I'm not following.
I said we don't want our brahmacharis to die immediately because they have to distribute Prabhupada. And then the butcher, he said don't live and don't die, because while he's living he's engaged in horrible activities, and when he dies he'll have to suffer so many sinful reactions. So a devotee's perspective is from the platform of Atma Gyan. So if a demoniac person is killed, especially if he's killed by the Supreme Lord, then he can get liberation immediately. Even if he's killed by the righteous king, the dharmic king, then he gets free from his sinful reactions. So the devotee, for this reason, he is pleased that that person they're removed from their sinful activities, and also by killing them, their sinful reactions are stopped. However, in Kali Yuga, we don't recommend killing the sinful people. Otherwise, there'd be no one left. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's process is to kill the sinful mentality by lifting people to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Now, when we hear about these demons, they sound very bad, don't they? When we hear about these demons, they sound very bad. When we discuss these demons, they sound like very bad people. When we think of the demons, we think of Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kumbhakarna, Shakatasura, Putana, Agha, Vyomasura, Bakasura. There are so many demons described in the Puranas. Of course, these demons, they had many mystic powers, and many of them took different kinds of forms. But in Mahabharata we also just completely human-like demons, we can say, like Duryodhana, Shakuni, Dushashan. These were the worst demons of Duryodhana, Dushashan, Shakuni. They were maybe the three worst. If we made an asurometer, they're probably the worst in the Mahabharata, according to the asurometer. Yeah, just like you have barometer, thermometer, so the asurometer. You don't catch it. If we could measure, just like you have thermometer, hydrometer. So if we could measure on the asurometer, probably in that episode they were probably the three worst. What do you think? Any opinions? Karna was pretty bad, but maybe not so bad. Jarasandha, he was bad, but he was not so powerful. So when we think of these demons, Krishna, who's he talking about? Duryodhana, Jarasandha, Shakuni. Who? Shishupal, yeah, he's also a bad demon of that time. He was already, anyway, he got killed early. Who is Krishna referring to in this chapter of Bhagavad-gita? It's not only these big famous demons, but anyone who has this kind of attitude. It's very common in the modern age that people subscribe to the mentality being described in this verse. In this verse, Lord Krishna describes people who say that there is no God in control, that everything is produced by chance. It's taught in the schools, it's the government syllabus. According to Bhagavad-gita, the standard education that goes on all over the world is for making people into demons. Please go wash your hand and stop chewing your fingers. Don't open the door with your contaminated hand. Anyway, it's too late. Have your Jagannath bag on the floor. See? Better not to have Jagannath on the bag. It's not that we use Jagannath in our service. You can translate that if you like. If you don't. So, it's not... And actually... People in the modern, we think, well, people are just normal, but actually due to these demoniac theories, people are becoming demoniac in behavior also. There was an article in Back to Godhead in about 1978, called Who Are the Demons? That the article started, when we think of demons, we think of someone maybe with 5 heads, and horns coming out of their head. But according to the description in Bhagavad-gita, it could be the person living next door to you. It might be your teacher in school. It might be your mother or father. It might be you too. Because people don't know. They think, just like, now I'll just give an example. Nowadays, people think that abortion is normal and good. What's the word in Tamil for abortion? But actually it's very sinful. And people think it's normal to eat meat. But in the Vedic literature, it is allowed under certain circumstances to eat meat. But it's not meant for Vaishnavas in general. But to take meat that is purchased from a slaughterhouse is very sinful. But people think it's normal because they're demons. They talk about peace and love of mankind and all this kind of thing. Manasanti, but samajik santi. Peace among men. Even just like, there was this Mother Teresa in Calcutta, and they said she's very saintly, but she was another meat eater. Because in Christianity, there's the actually demoniac philosophy that the animals have no soul. So they talk of love of God, but they're actually promoting demonism. So we have to understand these things. Otherwise, we'll be singing Radha Madhava, but if we don't understand this philosophy, then we'll be victimized by this demonism. Another symptom of the demoniac society, just like I was saying, para dukkha sukhi, they take pleasure in others' distress. And they can also be para dukkha sukhi. They'll be para sukha dukhi. They'll be unhappy if others are happy. Para sukha dukhi. If they see someone's happy, they become unhappy. So we should try to be divine and not demoniac. Daiva Asura, the two words are there. We should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna, who was also killing, but he was killing under the direction of Krishna. Killing in general is not good, but under certain circumstances it is required. But wanton killing, that means without any proper reason, just for the satisfaction of the tongue or to give pain to others, that is demoniac. In traditional Indian culture, the parents give names of God to their children. Of God or different, if Vaishnavas, they'll give names like Krishna, Mukunda and Gopal. Many of the Smartas also give names of Krishna to their children. And here in Tamil Nadu there are so many Kumar, which can also mean Krishna, but here they generally think of Murugan. Selva Kumar and Senthil. But nowadays it's more and more common to give some name which is not very religious. Just something like Ranjit or Raja. But some people, they give names which are just the opposites. Just like, there's someone called Stalin, and someone gave his son the name Stalin and another son the name Hitler. And there's even a gentleman living over the road whose name is Ravana. He's actually a very nice man. He likes our devotees. But it shows that people, if someone thinks that Hitler and Stalin and Ravana are good, then it just goes to show what a distorted mentality there. If you call your child Gopal, that means you want him to be a devotee of Gopal and have the qualities of Gopal. If you call your child Stalin, it means you want him to be like Stalin, who killed millions of his own citizens. Hitler, who was, he killed so many Jews, and then he made invaded so many countries, and he was the cause of so many people being killed. It's a very strange age in which people think that such people are good. In Britain there was a famous singer who he changed his name to Sid Vicious. Vicious means like nasty and bad. He gave himself that name. He changed his name to a name which means something. Vicious means like very cruel and nasty. People it's like declaring, I want to be bad, I want to give pain to others. So it's a very bad age. Hare Nama eva kevalam kalo nasteva gatiranyata. Please give the translation of that. To protect ourselves from the sinful effects of this Kali Yuga, we have to chant the names of Krishna. And to reform the misguided, demoniac society, we have to introduce the chanting of this Hare Krishna. Krishna is very sweet, Madhuram. He's dancing with the cowherd boys, the gopas and the gopis in Vrindavan. So we want to join Krishna in Vrindavan, dancing. Why remain in this demoniac world? We have to get free from this demoniac influence. We are chanting, but we're still influenced by demoniac desire. So we should recognize that what is the difference between pure bhakti and the demoniac outlook? Otherwise we are liable to be victimized by this demoniac outlook. It may, due to our past sanskaras or bad impressions or bad habits, it may be difficult to get free from the demoniac mentality immediately. But we have to have faith in the holy names. Go on chanting. Krishna will purify us. And we also need to understand this philosophy very clearly. Just like I was saying, in Christianity, they have this demoniac idea that God made the animals for us to eat. That's what they say. Whereas we find in Bhagavad-gita, Go Raksha, protection of cows. These people think that God made the cow specifically so that we could eat the cow. So we need to have a clear philosophical understanding of all these. Someone was telling me that so many his relatives, they converted to Christianity, and he said as far as he could see, the main reason is that they can just eat anything, what they like. They can eat, they can drink, they can do whatever they like. There's no bar. But gradually it's coming among Hindus also, which was unthinkable, that Hindus are eating cow's meat. So what a dangerous position. The Vedic culture has come to. So we have to promote this chanting of the holy name and the distribution of these books of Srila Prabhupada with clear spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, there's no hope for human society. Is there any question, please?
Did you say Goraksha is mentioned in Bhagavad-gita? Did you say that?
Oh, yes.
Where in which chapter?
In the 18th chapter, Krishi Goraksha Vanijam Vaishya Karma Svabhavajam.
Last chapter.
Yeah, Lord Krishna mentions the natural propensity of the Vaishyas is agriculture, cow protection, and Vanija, business.
So the
Vanija means trading. Prabhupada noted that it's Go-raksha, not buffalo raksha or dog raksha. So, there are other animals which are traditionally protected, like buffaloes and goat. There are so many. Elephants, horses, dogs, cats, donkeys.
rabbit also they are wearing rabbit.
Not protected. No, they're not. But because elephants, horses, donkeys, they have use in human society, traditionally. And dogs and cats also. Dogs, traditionally they were not kept as pets, but they would be like watchdogs like that. And the cat also helps to, naturally keeps down the mice. So there are several species of animal which naturally they live with humans.
So
they're domesticated. But Go-raksha, cow protection, is specifically mentioned in Bhagavad-gita. Srila Prabhupada said that people who like to eat meat, if they want to do so, then they can eat dogs, buffaloes, goats, but they should not eat cows. They said even if they want to eat cow's meat, we'll give it to them. That's what I said. You can translate it. You just let the cow die naturally and then you take the meat. But don't kill.
We should not, even it is after the death of a cow also, we should not eat Noji.
No, it's not.
It's a shenda, okay.
Yeah. So translate the question. She's asking why should we eat even after the... No, we should not. But I was saying, Prabhupada was saying, for people who are determined to eat meat, who have that... They're not Vaishnavas, they're not advanced, then they should at least refrain from killing cows. We're not saying it's good to eat meat, but we're saying that for people who are determined to eat meat, then at least they should not kill cows. Best if everyone stops eating meat, but for those who are determined to eat meat, then they should take some other animal's flesh. Or if they want cow's flesh, they should wait till the cow dies and then take it. It's bad, but it's not good to eat meat, but it's not as bad to eat buffalo flesh as it is to eat cow flesh, or to kill the cow. We drink milk. Now wait a minute, translate the first thing I said first. It's not good to eat meat, but if we are going to do so, then at least we should refrain from killing the cow. We should take some other alternative. So the nutritive value, they're saying it's very nutritious. The nutrition is in the blood. But the sattvic way to get the nutrition from the cow's blood is as cow's milk, which is transformed blood. Anything else?
Spread the cow raksha, Go-raksha. We should take some effort as a bhakta, as a Krishna bhakta.
Yeah. Okay. There's a comment. Please translate it in Tamil. We should make an effort. That's true. We're doing that. We're promoting Go-raksha by promoting the Krishna consciousness movement, distributing these books. We also have a program to make farm communities based on cow protection. Unfortunately, there are very few people, even among our bhaktas, who like to live simply in the village. Everyone's addicted to the city life. So it is an important part of the Krishna conscious movement to promote cow protection. But that must be done side by side with Krishna consciousness. Cow protection in itself is not the goal of life. Just like the Jains, they're very interested in cow protection. They're actually very inimical to Krishna. So we have to give the whole package, not half package. Alright, we'll finish there. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad-gita teaches ki jai. Should we chant Hare Krishna for a few minutes more? Ask, you can ask. Translate. Hare Krishna.